Okay, I am just making a video having the Sony Action Cam in the camcorder enclosure, as I call it. Just on a tripod, just trying to make a video. I don't know what I want to talk about actually. I really don't know. I just wanna film with this thing because this camcorder enclosure is so cool. It changes the whole idea about this camera and the way I use it. That is just bloody amazing. I love it. So I want to talk my ebook reader. I suppose the Tolino 2, I think it's called. Do you have a name and can I read it? Yes, Lindsay. As I said in the review, as soon as I turn on a camera, the cat starts meowing. Tolino Vision 2 is the reader I have. From what I've seen so far, the Tolino Vision 3 isn't all that much different, so I haven't upgraded. I really love the design and the design ethic, the idea about the Amazon Oasis with, yes Celine, go away. You have an ebook reader that you hold like this, but the part where you actually hold your hand to is thicker and contains the battery, and the screen on the other side becomes very thin, which means most of the weight of the device is actually in your hand, and the outside there's practically no weight there, which is amazing to me, except for one thing. I mean, yeah, that thing is actually a thing. I don't know if they support it software wise, but I do not know if the Amazon Oasis can actually be used with the left hand. I don't know if you can turn it upside down, because on the thicker side where the battery and the electronics are, you also have buttons to change pages, which I love. I love physical buttons on ebook readers. This one doesn't have them. My old Sony, well, several, I have like 3 Sony ebook readers. They all had those, and those are amazing. I love them. They're just so much more tactile. You actually know when you pressed something. You just not end up tapping on a fucking touchscreen and hope this thing works, and you have to look at it. I mean, you look at it anyway because you're reading it, but the point is, it feels more real, more tactile. It's a brain thing. I just like it more than the touchscreen only devices. So the Amazon Oasis has that, but on the right side where the main bulk of the electronics are. What I don't know if you can, you know, take it like this, have it the normal way up you see it in pictures, and turn it on its head, have it on your left hand, and switch the buttons, the buttons switch functions, so you can actually read with it left-handed. I don't know that. Now personally, I hold my ebook reader on my right hand anyway, but other people might not. So I don't know if that is a feature or a function that Amazon has actually considered. And the only reason I'm not buying one right now is it doesn't natively support EPUB, which is pretty much all the books I have are EPUB or things that I will convert into EPUB. And I know that Caliber for PC can actually convert to a format that Amazon can read. So there is a workaround for that. Because I already have a lot of ebooks. I'm not gonna buy an Amazon based product and buy all my ebooks again. That's just not gonna happen. I mean, no matter how amazing this thing looks and probably feels from what I imagine, I'm not gonna do that. But on the other hand, it's just so amazing and I want it. And the format isn't that much of a problem. What is the biggest problem right now is the price. That thing costs 292 euros. Almost 300 bucks for an ebook reader. This thing, in comparison, which is great by the way, except for the missing physical buttons, was what, like 120? It came out at 150, I pre-ordered it for 120 I think, so that's like half the price, even if you haven't pre-ordered it. So $300 for an ebook reader is a really steep price, so I want it. I desire it deeply. But it's too expensive for me to afford right now, especially since I bought this thing yesterday, the Olympus TG8660, which is a tough camera, 2.1 meters shockproof and 15 meters waterproof, which is amazing. I mean, I can't imagine myself ever going down to 15 meters, but if I ever do, I'll bring this along. So it's a nice little, well, little is relative today, rugged camera. The picture quality is pretty good as long as the light is good enough. If you're in low light, my S7 Edge actually makes better pictures than this thing, but in the correct lighting the picture and video quality is decent enough. So I imagine myself down in Croatia where the water is blue and you can see for miles underwater, and this thing would come really in handy for that. But yeah, maybe I'll find a way to go there in September. I don't know. I have 3 weeks of vacation coming up in September, so yeah, it's already July, so I should think about that, because that would not only be a great test for this camera, it will also be a great vacation for me. But I don't want to go anywhere alone, and I am alone, have no one to go with me, so yeah, maybe. Probably not, since I'm alone, because I have no trouble being alone, but going to an unknown new location that I've never been in before, in a country that I don't speak the language on, yeah, that's a little strange, especially if you're on the beach. I mean, if you go into the water, you leave all your stuff on the beach, and if you're alone and no one's there to watch it, then that just causes a whole, or could cause a whole need to wet my lips. It just causes a whole plethora, that is a stupid word when you're a little bit drunk, a whole plethora of problems that I don't know how to deal with. So yeah, I don't know. I want to go on vacation to a beach with nice blue water. That's not too expensive, but I'm alone, so that's a problem. But if I can manage it, I will bring this thing along together with the Sony action cam I'm filming this on right now, because with the case I have for it, the enclosure, it's waterproof to 5 meters as well, and without any scuba tank type of equipment I'm not gonna dive anywhere near 5 meters, at least not at my age. I used to dive without any equipment to around 10 meters, but that was a long time ago. We're talking like more than 15 years, more like 20. And I am fat now. Fat bloats you to the surface. I'm fatter now. I was fat there too, but not as fat. No, actually I wasn't. I was thin. Fuck me, I'm old. And also I'm a smoker, so yeah, lung capacity is an issue nowadays. But yeah, if I get to go to Croatia or any other type of place that has nice clean water, where underwater video footage actually makes sense, not like 2 years ago in Italy where I filmed with the Sony action cam underwater and you couldn't see anything because it was so dank, you couldn't see shit. You couldn't see 10 centimeters in front of your face, which was annoying. And I will bring both the waterproof cameras I have along with me. I also have the phone, the S7 Edge, and I know it is waterproof from Linus Tech Tip videos that I've seen, but I'm not gonna risk it because that phone is way too expensive. I mean, that phone is as expensive as this camera and this camera together at launch. So no, I'm not gonna risk it. It's just not worth it. But then I might actually make a comparison video and some real fun stuff, maybe, perhaps, possibly. I don't know yet. I can dream, I suppose. But yeah, that's the end of this little test video of the Sony AKA-LU1 camcorder enclosure, as I'm gonna call it, because it just sounds better than anything Sony has come up with. And I'm looking forward to see how this video will look. The angle of view on this camera is really extreme. It's good for an action camera, but I wish I could turn it off, because around here my head looks like this big. When I go here, it just widens to that's actually my face, I think, approximately. But on the sides here, that's not how my head looks. But yeah, that's an action camera for you. That's the one thing Sony fucked up with this thing. You can't turn off the what's it called? Not widescreen, but the angle of the lens. If you could turn this down to a normal angle with a normal picture, then that would be amazing. I would love Sony forever for that, but they didn't. Thank you, Sony. Assholes. I love you.